So people have all these ideas about adoption that come primarily from the public adoption system, from foster adopt. So they uniformly imagine that birth mothers are teenage girls without families or drug addicts. I mean, just uniformly. That's just people's assumption. So there's a funny way they ask about birth mothers. Like this kind of criminal in your past. And that wasn't our experience at all. In private adoption, you go through an agency or through a lawyer or some combination of the two, and you end up getting matched with a birth mother who picks you and you pick them. And those birth mothers come from every walk of life. So the second time we had a match and the baby was born, and we were in the hospital with the baby because she had jaundice, so we spent several days in the hospital, and then she came home with us, and then her birth parents changed their mind. So this is so interesting because it's so layered. Like, it's still super painful for me. We had to physically take her back to meet them, to hand back, and that has to happen. And I was like, I just can't do it. So we were and they were late coming to pick her up. God, it was awful. So we ended up, it all happened through the lawyer. Yeah, so I feel like we lost a baby. So after Eleanor went back, the same day we turned the nursery back into an office, which is what it used to be. It just... It's all so painful. I just didn't want to see it, you know? So all of that stuff had been out in the garage, and finally, people had given it to us. There was a lot of new stuff in there, and finally, Tim decided a few months later to load it back out, and figured we'd just start over if it happened. And I was like, I don't know, I'm done. But I also get that we both have to be done, so we stay in the process and see what happens. But just so you know, when you're ready, I'm done. And a half hour later, we got a phone call. Saying, so a birth mother's picked you. She called us last night at the end of the day, and we were planning to call you this morning, but she went into labor in the middle of the night. So you're matched if you want to be matched, but the baby's on the way. Meanwhile, the stuff was still in the back of Tim's car. So what they said on the call was, we might talk today. She's in labor. If she feels like it, we can set up a call today. Otherwise, we'll do it tomorrow after the baby's born, because she'd like a night in the hospital with the baby anyway. And I was like, okay. Because that's basically what had happened with our daughter's birth mother. So then I really was like, okay, I know where this is going. And then the next morning, they called at 9:30 and said, okay, so she's ready to talk. We knew the baby had been born the night before. He was healthy, all that. We did get that. And we were like, oh, okay. And we got on the phone. We covered birth and delivery really fast. And then she was like, so are you coming here today? And I was like, okay. So then I flew to Sacramento that day, and I walked in the hospital. She looks like me, like my coloring, and I liked her the second I walked in. She was really nervous about not being able to place before she left the hospital, and within 2 minutes I said the thing. So if you're not sure, we're not the family for you, and I will stay here until there's another family, and I can be in the hospital with you and the baby, but we're not the family if you don't know you can place. And she was like, I know I'm placing, and we both burst into tears. And I don't know, I just knew she was really going to do it.
Well, actually,